Awakening with Brahma Kumaris.
Namaskar and a very warm welcome to Awakening with Brahma Kumaris. We've traveled a long way. If we look back at the series when it started, we wanted to know, who am I? And the answer is in front of us. I'm not this body. I am a pure, loving, peaceful soul. I'm that energy. I'm powerful. And then the introduction to the God, Shiv Baba, that was beautiful. It really made me feel very good, and I just hope we've all gone through the same experience. And now let's move ahead. We've tried to understand, we've got a peep into how meditation can take us on this path. But still there are some questions unanswered. So let's try to find out answers to these questions. And as always, it's a privilege to have with us Brahma Kumari Sister Jayanti, who is a European Director of Brahma Kumaris and also the NGO representative at United Nations in Geneva. Om Shanti.
Namaskar and Om Shanti.
Sister Jayanti, it has been a beautiful journey. Thank you so much. You really made us realize the real truth about us and Shiv Baba. But still, there are few questions. Questions will always be there.
Right.
See, when I'm here, when we are all here, see the kind of calls we are getting, the kind of emails also we are getting. When we are here, meditation becomes easy. You take us through that journey. But when we sit, when we try to meditate, it is not that easy. Something or the other does come in between, and then we go into some other track. Is there a special technique? Because I really want to go on that track.
I'd like to share two different aspects of meditation. And maybe instead of the word meditation, we use a much simpler word, and that is remembrance. That's it. To remember who I am and to remember the Supreme. Then many of the other complications that arise with this very long word, meditation, can be eliminated. It's simple. Why? Because it's human nature to remember someone, something, whatever. And so all we're doing is using this very natural aspect of my own nature and life to channel it towards the highest being, the Supreme Being. And so maybe we forget about this word meditation for a while. How does remembrance happen? Remembrance happens when there's love. Remembrance happens if there's benefit, if there's some attainment. Remembrance happens when there's a need. Now apply all of these aspects in terms of the relationship with the divine. And you can see that as I begin to recognize the Supreme, that feeling of pure love for God begins to grow. Maybe it's been dormant for a little while because the world has been so much materialistic and such pressure that it was hidden away below the surface. But now that I understand who is God, I'm able to start a connection with Him, then it becomes a very natural thing. And the more I remember Him, the more I love Him, the more I love Him, the more I remember Him. As the love becomes warmer and powerful, then it becomes very natural to turn towards God just at any moment. We spoke about how it's important to create a timetable and start the day with remembrance and to close the day with remembrance. But if you were to ask a yogi who's been actively engaged in these things for a long time, then they would say that, don't ask me how long I meditate. Ask me how long I don't meditate. Because when there's love, the natural remembrance is just a continuous experience. So then it's not even a technique in that.
Yeah, it is even said that each breath you take actually is meditation if you really are into it. But again, meditation is a word which is very heavy.
Yeah.
But that, I think that is why remembrance becomes easier to accept.
So I'll stick to this word, remembrance. And yes, meditation's become like a supermarket. You know, there's so many different brands that you can choose from, so many varieties that you can try and see if they suit you and fit your size. And so I think you have to be pretty clear about what it is you want from your practice, whichever practice it is you choose.
Yeah, Sister Jayanti, here I would like to share a personal experience, the way you said. I think I tried all the aspects of meditation, whichever I could get. It's a long journey. But then it didn't work. What is so important in this philosophy or in this thought? Because I can feel that it is working. I may not be 100% into it, into the real, on the real way, but then I can feel that it is working. But the other things didn't work. Why? This is again one question which has been bothering me, that was I not doing it properly? Or like, why it didn't work?
I think that if you were to sit in a car and somebody were to tell you, drive, well, maybe instinct would help you, but I think it'd be much easier if you were given information and a few lessons, then you would drive with safety. The same thing happens in terms of this aspect of Rajyoga. We're given very clear information about the self, about the supreme, the method of meditation, what's happening as I begin to practice, what are the different steps and stages that I should expect to be able to go through. So everything has been defined in a very, very clear manner. And so I think through my conversations with you, you're not somebody who just accepts something because somebody told you this. And I think that's true for most of us in today's world. We hear and we think about it and then decide whether it feels right or not. And so because in Raj Yoga, what we're doing is sharing knowledge and then saying, well, if you've got questions, it's fine to ask questions. Don't just accept whatever we are saying as being the gospel truth. It might not be. And definitely don't just accept with blind faith. But think about it, challenge it, and sort it out. Because if you've done that, then the faith that you have is a sort of faith that's described in the Gita, Nischaya Buddhi. The buddhi has been engaged, the buddhi has been working, then it has developed that faith. And so that's what leads to victory. If you've accepted something because you were told, then at a time of struggle, it's going to slip away because it's artificial. It doesn't belong to you. You don't have ownership of that idea. But if you thought about it and weighed it up and then maybe even discarded it, that's fine. But if there's something you've understood and then you've taken it on board, it's there within you and it's going to help you at a time of need. And so I think why, for me, this works is because we're told you can question and there's answers to the questions. The second factor about this is that people have thought that God is very far away. And how are we ever going to experience God? Or they've thought that it's going to take thousands of years of tapasya and then maybe you meet God. And here, what I'm feeling is that God is my parent.
It's very powerful. It really makes me feel loved, cared, what I've been looking for. Can we get into the real sense of how we should actually initiate ourselves?
Okay, let's have a little meditation now, and again I'll express the thoughts as I create them within myself in my own meditation and hope that we move together on the same journey. I just like to point out a few factors. When you remember someone you love, you don't need to sit in a particular posture. So we don't have specific postures. If you can sit on the floor, great. If you can't, a comfy chair is okay. But make sure that you're not so comfortable that you fall asleep. Because most times we are so pressured that when we get a little bit of a space to relax, that's it. We're gone. And then we say, it was a beautiful meditation. But it wasn't. It was a very sweet sleep and my body needed it and that's fine. But it certainly wasn't a meditation.
That's true.
And this is why also it's good to meditate with eyes open, to keep yourself alert. And sometimes when I'm giving the commentary and meditating, then it's not so easy to keep my eyes open. So viewers will say, but you're asking us to do something that you're not doing. But I'm trying to do three things, speak and meditate and also keep everything together. But normally we would meditate with eyes open, so that then not just the alertness but something else. It's like now, as we speak together, if I'm in that contemplative state, I'm aware of who I am, I'm aware of who you are. And in that awareness, it's very easy to connect on the level of truth, on the level of eternity. And so meditation with eyes open is a preparation to impact our life. And so this is another reason why this meditation is so effective, because the very practice is training you how to keep a higher consciousness whilst engaged in all the things you would do otherwise. And so when you talk to somebody, you're not going to shut your eyes. You're going to keep your eyes open. But if you've practiced meditation, eyes open, then you see somebody and you're not distracted by anything, but you're seeing them in that eternal vision. And so eyes open meditation is the training to be able to keep a higher consciousness after you've left your meditation room. And the other way that it's different, which again makes it very effective, is that it's not just a relaxation exercise. Yes, you can get many places where you can learn those. And it's true, the body does relax. But that's not the purpose of this meditation. It's not a concentration exercise. Because say, for example, if I were chanting a word, I would focus on that word for that period of time. And so for that period, I've removed other thoughts from my mind, which is great. I'm learning to concentrate because most people today don't know what is concentration. So I've learned to concentrate. I've eliminated other thoughts from my mind. And so for that space of time, I feel at peace. But I stop the chanting or the mantra or whatever. What's going to happen? My mind is going to go back into the same whirlpool. And so all the things that I'd stopped for a little while are still waiting to grab me by the throat as soon as I finish. But in Rajyoga, what we're doing is retraining the mind so that it's not just a force for a few minutes, but I'm training the mind to work on a different level, to create thoughts on the level of truth. And this practice stays with me even when I get back into my daily routine. And so it's not that while I meditate, I've left the world outside, but when I'm meditating, I've changed the way in which I look at things and understand things. And so this understanding and awareness is then transmitted into the rest of my day. And so it's very much a meditation which is part of a working lifestyle. So it's not one of leaving the world and going away somewhere, but staying in the world, doing what I need to do, but with a different attitude, a different consciousness. So let's try a few minutes now. As I focus on the self, the eternal being, in the center of the forehead, I realize I, the being of light, am the master of this physical body. My eyes, my ears, my lips, my hands and my feet are there to do as I bid them. I, the soul, am the master, and my physical senses are my assistants. they relay my feelings and thoughts. They convey to me information from the world outside. But I am the master of all of this. And as I regain the awareness of who I am and create mastery, I can feel each one of my senses becoming calm, becoming pure, being very, very clean. And as a yogi, I now rule the senses so that only that which is right may happen through them. I, the ruler of my physical senses. But also, I, the soul, the master of my inner senses, my thoughts, my feelings, my memories, my personality, aware of who I am, my thoughts become quiet and peaceful. My thoughts are the energy with which I can reach the Supreme. And I use my thoughts, aware of the eternal being that I am. My thoughts focus on God, and the soul connects with the Supreme, a being of light, the highest of all. I stay connected, and I come back to the awareness of the physical dimension and the things happening here. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Sister Jayanti, I want to ask you, can I remain this way connected the whole day, doing everything else?
Yes,
Is it possible?
it is. Again, it depends on the love that you have. If you love someone, their image is in front of your mind all the time.
Can I be thinking about him always?
Absolutely.
But that is true. It's not just I'm imagining.
No, it's like if you're in the sunshine, then everything you're doing is in the sunshine. That sunlight is surrounding you. If you lock yourself out of the sunlight and go into a cave, that's your choice. But the sunshine is there for you to come out and enjoy it. In the same way, God's light and God's love is there available for us. And we can do everything in that light and in that love. But sometimes we get attracted by the physical senses. Sometimes we get pulled into all sorts of byways and alleyways. And so then we step out of that light. But of course, what God would like is for me to be in that light all the time.
Now, another question related to this remembrance is that when you are telling me, when you are sharing with me all your thoughts about this remembrance, the thoughts which are coming in my mind, actually they are coming. But then this is the most powerful thought. So I'm able to move the way your thoughts are making me move. But when I am alone and I have to do what you have, you've been instructing me, then these thoughts who are coming and going might become powerful.
What's happening is that as you're beginning to meditate, in those early stages, all the external help you're getting is valuable and useful. But the purpose of all this is to just give you the instruction and the training so that then you can reach a point where you don't need another human being to help you with this. We're showing you how to do it. It's like, people say, but I don't know what to think when I'm supposed to meditate. Am I supposed to blank my mind out? What am I supposed to do? And so this is a demonstration in a sense. This is how I meditate, but now it's not a poem that you have to memorize or a prayer that you have to write down and recite, but it's an insight into what's going on in my mind, so that then as you deepen your understanding of the soul, of God, your relationships with God, the qualities of God, when you sit, your thoughts move in that direction. The thoughts based on that information, knowledge, the truth. And so then you are occupied in creating your own thoughts on that level. The worst thing to do in meditation is to say, I want my mind not to think, because it's going to be the trigger for 1,000 waste thoughts to come in.
Really. I think it can't. But one thing I want to ask that for me, what I have understood when I have seen this kind of meditation is like it's a conversation somewhere. That's what I have understood. It's a conversation. Somewhere, maybe with yourself and finally with him. Suppose during this conversation, I take a tangent, some other thought takes over and I go into that direction. But I realize, oh, I've reached somewhere else. I come back. Is it okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And it's natural. In that first stage, in a stage where you could use the term initiation, thoughts are going to go here and there. And you're gradually learning to channel them in the right direction. The second stage, meditation, your thoughts are moving, flowing in that direction. Third stage, concentration. You've learned now to focus your mind on one aspect of a relationship with God or a quality of God, and so you're concentrating, you're focused. And in that stage, you're beginning to experience the relationship with the divine. And the mind isn't as active. It's alert, it's aware, it's very conscious, it's totally focused, but it's now understanding what is silence. And so thoughts aren't rushing anymore. There's a thought and an experience. A thought and a feeling. Another thought. And so the thoughts are punctuated with the experience and the silence. And those stretches of silence is not an empty silence. It's a silence filled with communication. It's like when two people communicate. It's not only through words. Sometimes we say nothing, but there's a communication. And so yoga, that stage of concentration and focus, yoga, where I'm now connected, and all that God has, God is sending to me through that union. I reached out with my thoughts, and now God is sending me everything that God has and is filling me with all. And so that's the stage then we talk about as realization. Realizing what is purity, what is peace. Not in words, but in a feeling, in an experience. And when you're in that experience, you don't label it. It's like, when you're having a good sleep, you don't say, am I having a good sleep? You're asleep. Then you wake up, then you say, that was a good sleep, or not. Same thing, when I'm in the ocean of peace, there's a stillness filled with a richness of the experience. There's no label at that moment. Then, when I come out of that experience and I say, that is the peace I've been looking for. And so, stages.
We initiate a thing and we start experiencing, and then something happens. We don't get time, or like suppose, that particular time, even if we fix up, we had to do something else and, we're not able to do it that time. And then we lose the connection. How to have the real continuity?
The only time which can be guaranteed to be my personal time is when everybody else is sleeping. And that means early morning, because through the night you can go on and people still be awake. But early morning, as early as you can, but at least an hour before my normal scheduled wake-up time, or an hour before the rest of the family wakes up. That hour is one which is mine. And as I say, it's paying the highest price of all, which is depriving me of my precious sleep. But when you start getting into this practice, the power that you feel, the energy that comes to you from this is worth 8 hours of sleep. It really is. An hour in which you've experienced communion, union, yoga with the divine has filled you with everything that you need. And 8 hours of sleep wouldn't have given you that. So when you realize the value that you're getting, then the price that you're paying is not so much.
One last question is like the continuity. It does break. Then if it breaks, maybe for 4 days, 3 days, can I start again?
Of course, because God never shuts the door. The door is always, always open. And so, of course, the best is that discipline. And as I say, early morning, nobody wants to talk to you on the phone. Your children don't want you. They're tucked up still. Nobody wants you, but God wants you.
That's beautiful.
Because that's the time when the world is quiet. So there's not such a battle to combat the vibrations of others at that moment. So they're all asleep. So I can go flying up above and make that connection much more easily than I would at any other time.
Yeah, that's great. In fact, I think I'll try in those early hours. Thank you, Sister Jayanti, for taking us through this journey and making us really understand what is the real technique. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
This was a wonderful experience. We all want to go through this experience. Only thing is, we'll have to take the initiative. Let's try it out, because this might work. You can always call in.
If you wish to discuss your problem or have a question to ask or want to know your nearest Rajyoga Meditation Center, call us on 09999744555.
Once we understand who am I and who he is, and of course we understand the technique to reach out to him and to my own self, then the question comes, how is it going to help in relation to others? How am I going to change when others are around? This is a question we'll try to explore in the coming episode. Till then, take care, have a beautiful life. Awakening with Brahma Kumaris will be back. Bye. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.